Hello everyone, and welcome to Star Trek Honasto Episode 4, a Klingon game of Star Trek Adventures using the rules by Modiphius Entertainment. My name is ELH the Game Master, and I'm excited to pick up where we left off last time with a bit of an intrigue plot involving some changelings aboard the glorious vessel that is the I.K.S. Honasto. I don't really have any announcements other than the fact that we will definitely be off next week because some of the players will be on vacation, from what I remember. So we're just going to let them enjoy their time off, and we're not going to have them call in from whatever Caribbean island they choose to go to. Other than that, I'm excited to get started, so let's get introductions, and we'll get to it. So we'll start with Steadfast Pig.
Hello, I'm Steadfast Pig. Real world Richard. I am playing Brigadier General Akroc, and I know I'm excited to hunt down some changelings today, so let's figure it out.
All right. Kern, you're up next.
I'm Kern, and I play Dagon, son of Ken, and I'm the fleet engineer, so look forward to seeing what engineering I can do this day.
I have a few things planned. I think you'll enjoy them.
All right.
Donut, you're up next.
Hello, I'm Donut. I play Captain Khanas, who is the ship head surgeon. I'm sure there's some medical shenanigans afoot with a changeling.
Just a few.
Just a few. Like no bones. You know.
Gotta start those happy blood tests.
Yeah, we can figure this out, or we'll do trial by fire.
Yeah, just
that
start randomly chopping off arms, and if the arm doesn't, you just reattach it. Sure, it'll work. Anyway, Monjad, you're up next.
What's up, gamers? Monjad. I am playing Colonel Maury, son of Polvich of House Makgil, the fleet record keeper, advocate general, lawyer, diplomat, and many other unfortunately beleaguered things. And I'm sure that Maury's gonna have so much fun dealing with all the paperwork associated with this crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of paperwork. But yeah, let's get the intro going, and then we'll get started. And welcome back. So, something I like having the players do in all my Star Trek games is have them do an opening log, and I believe that, Colonel Maury, you have that today.
Advocate's personal log. Year of Kalis 1046, 9th day of Dokos. Quantum encryption key state 12D Potek Volshtol. The ballroom murder of Lieutenant Shraksag Lari has spread countless claims of honor across the fleet. Every beck with ridges and many without have sought to avenge the dishonorable death of one of their own, especially at the possible hands of a changeling. General Akroc's roundup of witnesses has begun in earnest, but packed drinking holes seldom make for reliable enough testimony to track down a shapeshifter. I have begun the painstaking process of cross-referencing changeling activity against the 2 years prior to the Honasto's commissioning. While the actions of the dishonorable are usually beneath contempt, even a cornered targ still has its fangs, especially if it faces its own trap sprung too soon. It is equally possible that this was as much an underskilled changeling as it was an attempt to draw our attention elsewhere in a well-coordinated operation. Admiral Zark has made it clearly known to all involved parties that this is to be wrapped up as quickly and quietly as possible. I share his desire, if for no other reason than to eliminate the influx of pads with official claims to vengeance for the record. It has not been possible to immediately query other sources due to subspace transmission drop-off increase on our intergalactic departure. It seems that I and my fellow warriors must open ourselves to insight from sources not of historical honor, but of wisdom going forward.
Very nice. You may have a momentum for that lovely opening log. So, where we're going to resume is that you four are in one of the many, many, many conference rooms that exist aboard the Honasto. This is one of those things where it's not quite on deck one, it's like deck two or deck three, but you definitely have claimed this conference room as your own, quote unquote. And just because I think it's interesting for a set piece, before we get to actually any roleplay, how would you all have perhaps customized your own personal conference room? Like, do you have Raktajino always ready? Do you have like a Beck at your beck and call that is always on standby? Like, what does your special conference room look like?
I feel like we should have one less threat after that use of Beck and Call.
I do like drinks on demand though. I feel like that is pretty mood.
I don't know how they rack pads on a Klingon ship, but I think that bare minimum we've got the office full of paperwork equivalent of stacks upon stacks of pads with all kinds of useful pieces of evidence or details.
Okay. A crack, Dagon, anything?
Yeah,
you wanna add?
mine would be pretty chill. He's very clean for a Klingon. Everything is organized into very nice, very clear pockets. There's some sort of creature's head on one side, a glorious hunt. But other than that, it's very kind of by the book standard.
Austere.
Yeah.
And yeah, what about you, Dagon?
Nope.
Anything you want to add?
For me, it'd be pretty simple. Have basically a couple of trophies and maybe a batleth or something hanging on the wall, and maybe a head of a targ or something like that.
Okay, I like it. I'm just making little notes of all this.
Beautiful.
Great. Well, as I said, you all are in your special conference room. You are going over the details of the murder of Traxag Lari, the dead helmsman of the I.K.S. Vestarg. It has been about 5-6 days since the murder has taken place, and as Colonel Mori made clear in their log, answers have been very skim, or very scant, I think is the word I want. What witnesses and what people were actually there, they all gave conflicting reports. None of them were coherent enough to confirm that they were dealing with a changeling. But since I did make a note here that you all were very curious why Klingons stepped into what could have been an honor duel, there was a bit of audio that you did manage to capture. That was something along the lines of from Traxag, and I say this verbatim: help, they're going to kill me. And then there's a pause, and then changeling, another pause. Help me, you honorless scum.
Interesting. So help, they're going to kill me. Pause, changeling, pause, help, you honorless scum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I have a question.
I have an
And
answer.
this is one of those wonderful finer points of Klingon linguistics. Were they using they like this? Is there like the singular pronoun they referring to a person, or they referring to a group?
I was about to say, yeah, was that indicative of multiple changelings being called out?
Yeah, is it that bastard or those bastards?
I'm glad you asked, because it is the plural. It's not just the singular they, it is the plural they.
Okay. Interesting. Have we gotten in any way to search his personal quarters? Has that happened in these past 5 days, or still on standby?
It's been quarantined. It's just been kind of waiting for you all to head by his quarters. But since
Copy.
I wanted that to be maybe a scene, we haven't
Yeah.
done it yet in character.
Copy.
All right. Well, was there anything else? Again, this is as much for us as for me, who may have forgotten. Anything else unusual at the scene of the crime that we may wanted to take note of or notice?
I would say that aside from the changeling residue, there wasn't really a whole lot left at the crime scene. We also haven't done the autopsy of Traxag yet either, because I also wanted that to be a scene. So he's been kept on ice until you're ready.
Copy. All right. Well, I feel like at this point, we can't learn anything from the talking to people. I think autopsy and then searching any of his other personal records, quarters, see if he logged anything. We know there was like that couple month gap before he got on the Honasto. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we can try to dig some more into some files and see if we can figure out if there was a reason for that, and see if there's any kind of ways that we can draw any other threads here.
Right. Was the gap a cause or an effect?
Or an effect,
of...
yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. Yeah.
It sounds like you're going to one of the medical bays to have a bit of an autopsy.
Sounds like it's autopsy time.
Yeah, an autopsy.
Sounds good to me.
Autopsy first.
Trying to
let's
put
do it.
what is it, Glorthar's blade to good use medically.
There you go.
We do have some smaller tools for that. Although I guess if you want to just quickly,
Actually, you know what? Are autopsies even honorable? Should we even sully the blade with it?
not Glorthar's blade. Hell no.
Maybe.
But I do think there is something to be said. I feel like, it would be not honorable to go down to let such an injustice go by, without being able. There might be some clues, and for all we know, there's some additional changeling residue. Like, I don't think this guy was a changeling, but I don't know. Medical stuff.
If we must use what they call the scalpula to open him up and reveal his insides, if it is part of the struggle for honor, it is almost necessary.
All right. Well, chat's redeemed a complication, so what I'm going to say is that, interestingly, when you report to the main surgeon bay and you go to pull open the door to the morgue where the body was being kept, the body's gone.
Oh no.
Wow. Okay.
Who observed the normal death rites here? He was supposed to have been preserved.
I mean, still might be preserved, just elsewhere.
Is there anyone currently in the medical bay?
A few nurses and orderlies, and when they see that there's no longer a body, one of the nurses comes over and goes, "I am sorry, Captain I.K.S. I was told that you had approved for the body to be cremated." It was a very strange order, but the paperwork was in order.
Damn straight! Alright, okay. How long ago was this?
Well, the orderly that came with the order stopped by about 20 minutes ago. You might be able to catch them before, the whole burnination. Burnination, of course, being the official Klingon word for cremation.
Of course it is. Okay, where would the burning happening? Or conversely, if there's multiple places, some less, some more discreet than others.
I would say that the nearest one is pretty close. It's just a quick jog down the corridor. But there are probably cremation facilities, at least somewhat nearby most of the surgeon bays, because again, big ship like the Honasto, it's natural that people are going to die and need to free up space, as it were. So you could try the nearest crematory. You could, pop open a scan or a log and see if you can track them, but the clock is ticking.
but we should not make it obvious that we are on the trail of our possible prey. Perhaps we should query the ship's security logs and identify who took a warrior-sized package out of the morgue.
Right. There's no way that that's going to be super stealthy. And, we could call ahead or contact the crematoriums and see if there's anybody coming in unscheduled. I'm certain they don't just do drop-ins.
Mm-hmm.
So there must be a record somewhere, even if it's forged. Somebody must know it's coming.
All right. I'm just trying to think what to do as a test here. How about we do, and this is open to whoever wants to do it, why don't we do a reason and a command, or a reason and medicine? Either would be fine here. And let's set the difficulty at a 2.
Ooh,
Before we start rolling or anything, I'm going to pull aside that same orderly to let this slip and tell them under no circumstances are you to allow anyone to even touch the container that held the body. I repeat, nobody else until you hear it from me. Anyone else, upon pain of dishonor, you will be killed where you stand if even the Admiral himself comes to open that hatch. Am I clear?
Crystal, sir.
See to it. Gotta preserve the chain of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could do a reason command if we wanted to. It's not bad. I don't know if
mine's 15.
Reason.
Yeah, that's as far as I've got. So if anyone can beat a 15.
You could do a reason medicine. I think that's.
Oh wait, actually, reason medicine. I beat that. So yeah, I can do
I was
that.
gonna say I think you could do that with a medicine roll.
You got it.
All right, so, just standard roll. Haha.
That's a big negatory. So I think. Let me check. Do you still have your determination? Is that an option here, perhaps?
I don't know. I show none, but I don't know if I should have reset it for starting today.
I think this is still technically the same mission, but this is a new session. I will give you your determination. Yeah, so if you spent, and this applies to anyone, if you've spent determination, you can have it back for the session.
Okay.
But as a reminder, in order to use determination, you would have to tie it to a value.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of my values is no dying on my watch, so maybe it's no removing the dying on my watch.
I mean, I could see that happening.
I mean, it was my watch, and you all screwed it up, glaring at the orderlies.
The orderlies do not cower in fear. They are Klingon.
Nice.
Well, I still glare at them. They shouldn't cower in fear, but maybe just a little internally.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
respect it. They can't show the fear. I get it.
So it's nurses.
Mm-hmm. And then you either just perform task again, or you can hit the reroll results button, whichever.
All right, we'll hit the reroll results button.
Nice.
So goodbye determination.
There you go. 2
That's
successes
more
is what you
like
need.
it.
So the good news actually is, you check the logs and you do find that the nearest morgue is where the body was removed, and in fact you have how do I say this? You have a visual record of a nondescript Klingon, again, very plain, no distinguishing features. In fact, this guy is so normal that he would stand out for being so normal, kind of a thing. But you see this very normal Klingon lugging the body down the corridor to the crematory. And since you succeeded, I'm going to tell you that you maybe have about 4 or 5 minutes before the crematory will be heated up and ready to dispose of that body.
All right, can we call the crematorium and tell them to halt?
Yeah, I'm going to start running towards the crematorium if they're going to call. I think.
Right, I think we need to do a two-pronged, tell the crematorium, rogue body, do not burn.
No, better yet, contaminated body. Seal down the section of the ship. Nobody in or out. Because in that way, if somebody's still in the scene, we lock it down.
I don't know. I don't know how the route is. I don't know if we're going to be getting too many. If that's going to make too big of a scene, because we don't want to attract attention. And this guy was very explicitly, not attention attracting.
Right, but we don't want them to slip out if at all possible. If everyone thinks that there's an infection and they have to stay where they are, or bad things will happen, that way we at least contain them from getting out.
Well, you
Or
all
something.
tell
I mean,
me.
the logic here is we don't give away that we're...
I can-
Right. I think we shouldn't give away that we're on to him. So I think if we have just somebody trail the guy, and then tell the crematorium, hey, somebody's coming, but just stall as much as you can, because we don't want them to cremate. But we also don't want to start alerting, because if this guy goes on lockdown, if we put any sort of lockdown, this guy's going to know.
Yeah, it's
We
one of those
don't know,
problems where,
and
like,
we don't know if this guy's the changeling.
Damned if you
or
do and damned if you don't.
right, yeah, because like if we quarantine, then there's gonna be people that are setting up a quarantine, and then there's gonna be more people that are watching because
Right. I think
you
we
got
need to-
rubberneckers everywhere.
Right. I don't think we want to introduce that level of chaos. But if we could have somebody trail the guy, cut him off at the crematorium so that they don't burn the evidence.
So it sounds like you want somebody to be on the lookout for this nondescript Klingon to bring in a body. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, we need
and
to.
just to don't do any of the body burning because
Yeah,
we gotta-
just stall. Maury can make
You-
up some
you know, we could-
paperwork nonsense like that. We need
could
to
be
do
in there by doing a site-to-site transport.
That is also an option. I was going to say you
Oh,
can
yeah.
transport within the ship.
true.
That
Oh
is
yeah,
an
we've
option.
been
what
watching
about-
Enterprise. We forgot you can do that.
Oh, wait, why don't we just beam the body out of the crematorium? Why, like, right when we spring the trap and go in?
Ooh, yeah, we can have them think it's gonna do it, and then
We'd
just
have to have visuals of the body.
Yeah, we have to have visuals and somebody there.
There's no way to track this one individual body here. If it doesn't have a
Say it
communicator
would,
on,
you
then we
could
can't
you
track
could
it.
attempt it. I mean, as engineer, you have skills in transporters and replicators. You could certainly attempt it. It would just maybe be a little bit difficult.
There's the tragedy of if we mess up and then we lose the body, the body doesn't end up where we want it to, then that could also suck.
I
If we
prefer
have,
beating it to
what-
the crematorium.
Yeah,
So
I
let's be
think
very
it's probably
clear.
safer.
Are you going to
Site-to-site
beam to the
transport.
crematorium, or are you going to hoof it there on foot?
I'm gonna beam.
I think we should beam because I forgot we could do that.
We could also
um,
do both. We could pinch some maneuvers.
We can have
right?
one person trail
Oh,
him.
we could send a security detail, do the footwork part, and we can beam it since we're
That's
Admiral's
true.
privilege.
That's true. Yeah, we're privileged. We don't need to do the grunt work anymore, I guess.
Okay.
Yep. If we show up and spook the target by landing in the crematorium, at least the security pukes are there to restrain him.
But if I'm in the crematorium, that's not going to be so weird as a doctor. That won't be
True.
as much of a giveaway.
yes.
So maybe we
And-
have Honasto go there first on
Right,
foot,
so
and
if
everybody
I-
else follows
Yeah,
there
so I'll
after.
go on that side, get there first. Maybe Maury for paperwork because, I guess sometimes you have to do paperwork if we're going to be tracing back to house lineage. I guess.
Yep, I'll throw on the whole like aura of authority and stuff and make it. You're beleaguered. You're dealing with the Nebish who's making you do all this crap to jump through hoops. So you're not out there to investigate. You're out there because you have to be, and you want to go back to reattaching or detaching limbs.
Okay. So let me make sure I understand correctly, because I'm a little confused, but I want to make sure I got it right. So, I.K.S and Maury are still going to go on foot, and then Dagon and Akrak are going to beam into the crematory? Do I have that right?
Yeah, we have them come in on our signal or whatever predetermined amount of time afterwards, and we'll have the security detail summoned and ready to keep an eye out on the outside of the room.
Right, but me being on the way to the crematorium is not going to be as much of a giveaway.
Yep.
That's more of a business as usual.
We're power walking our way there because we have to do this before they flip the switch, but it's going to get done. Everybody else is going to get ready to move at a moment's notice.
Okay. Dagon, Akrak, anything you'd like to amend?
Nope.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
So, what's going to happen is Dagon and Akrak, you get ready to beam in at a moment's notice. K.S and Maury, you basically sprint through the corridor at warrior speed. to arrive at the crematorium ahead of this nondescript Klingon lugging the body. What I would tell you is that when you enter the crematorium, it's a very simple affair. It is just a rectangular room. There are 4 slots on the wall that would be large enough to fit a body. And it's one of those things where you just kind of open up the door, put the body or whatever you're cremating on a slab. You push the button again, door shuts. A disruptor disintegrates the body, and then anything remaining, like ashes and stuff, is then put into a small little keepsake and spit out of a smaller slot next to the larger door, if that makes sense.
They even want the keepsake?
Well, some people want a little memento, so you can, of course, skip that step if you think it's not honorable.
Fair enough. I guess as we walk in, halt this process immediately! Doctor, which one of these is your mistake?
Honasto just kind of rolls her eyes, because we're just basically stalling for time now, right? So are we there yet? Sorry, I think.
Yeah, you're there. You actually ended up beating the NPC Klingon to the crematorium.
Okay. So in that case, I'm gonna just ask. I'm sure there's an attendant there, right? Like, is this totally like self-sufficient, like on demand?
There is a Beck there, just kind of making sure that nothing breaks down. He is wearing the stereotypical engineer sleeveless vest because it gets a little toasty in here.
You there? Was there somebody en route coming? Any knowledge of any participants? That's not the right word.
Mistakes.
You expecting
Doctor.
a visitor?
The term is mistakes, as in we have not properly endured the Kulbosh ritual for this member of the House of Laurie.
And
has anybody brought in a corpse in the last hour?
And I think the Beck is just kind of snap a salute and says, "Captain, Colonel, no sir, no ma'am. Things have been very quiet here. In fact, I wasn't sure that should I be expecting someone? I'm sorry, maybe I missed paperwork somewhere."
No, Beck, you were not meant to expect anyone at this time. Isn't that right, Doctor?
If anyone was to come, I just kind of look around, because I don't know how much we beat the guy by.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I'm going to spend 2 threat to create the complication that you're mid-sentence when the door opens again. And sure enough, in the doorway is that very nondescript, very quote-unquote normal Klingon. The body bag is slung over their shoulder, and the door opens, they look at you, they look at the attendant, they look back at you, and then... How mean do I want to be? I think I'm going to be mean, because this is a Klingon game. What they do is they drop the body and immediately go for a dagger on their waist. So we are going to enter into a little bit of personal combat here. So in terms of a Kraken Dagon beaming in, all I need is someone to say, "Hey, Dagon and a Krak, you need to beam in now," as a free action during your turn, and then they can beam in to be part of the normal initiative order. But for the time being, it is just Kanas, Mori, and the Beck. The good news is that Star Trek Adventures always has the players go first on round 1, but this is a Klingon game, so I'm going to actually spend some more threat to say that the nondescript Klingon, potential Changeling, is going to act first. So let me confirm what their daring and security is. Okay. Also, I will roll diplomatically. We'll just sort of go down the line. Kanash, you're number 1. Mori, you're number 2. And then the Beck is number 3. So who is our lucky winner for today? Well, it looks like our Beck is our lucky winner today.
Poor guy.
And you know what? I'm not even going to roll for the Beck because I think this is interesting. So the maybe Changeling leaps forward, and I'd like to imagine that Kanas and Mori, you're going for your weapons, getting out of the way of the lunge, but in the process, you leave the Beck open, and the Beck is too slow. He's going for his weapon, but almost immediately, the maybe Changeling just drives the dagger between their eyes, and then unceremoniously kind of just puts a foot on the chest of the Beck and unsheaths the blade from the forehead. So the Beck is no longer there, unfortunately. But it is now the player's turn, meaning Kanas or Mori.
All right. The first thing we'll do is summon Dagon and Atraka. Just be like, get here now. Abort original plan.
Cool.
As I guess the free action, and then I think Kanas, the first thing she would do is check the body and just like, secure that, because if we lose the body, then we lose half the point of being here.
Okay. What I would tell you is that the body was dropped by the maybe changeling. It is on the floor in the threshold of the crematorium.
Okay, and the changeling doesn't seem to be interested in going to the body. He's in pure stabby mode.
Pure stabby mode, yeah.
All right. Mori, do you got this? I want to make sure the body's secure.
Mori's just going to narrow his eyes, drop the pad in his hands, crack his knuckles, and nod.
All right. Okay, so I'll get ready to... Yeah, I guess I would have... I could take Disruptor Pistol out. I would have that on me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's get firing. I don't know if I would know how well a pistol would work on a changeling / maybe changeling, but that's a future Klingon problem.
Aim for the limbs. Don't try not to kill. I know these things don't have a stun setting, but let's do our best here.
That's true. Yeah, we'll aim to maim because we're not getting answers out of a dead blob.
Well, you never know. All right. Well, to attack with a disruptor pistol, this would be a control and a security at a difficulty of 2.
All right, that's still task, not challenge, correct?
Correct.
I'm just seeing if I have anything that would be helpful. I don't think so, but...
Okay, that looks like a whole lot of nothing. And I think unless you want to challenge a value and use determination again, I think...
I blew my determination already, and I don't think I have any value. I don't think any values I would have would actually apply. I think I just whiffed this one because I was mad, bro.
Okay, fair enough. So the good news, you didn't roll a complication, so you didn't accidentally shoot Mori. So
or shoot the body. Yeah, I didn't shoot anything. I just whiffed.
I mean,
yeah,
it's not
so
like
the green light lances out and just misses the maybe changeling completely. Now, one thing I would say about this maybe changeling is since they are a special NPC, they actually get multiple actions per round. They actually cheat a little bit in terms of action economy because it's just one maybe changeling against potentially 4 or 5 of you. So I had to make it a little bit interesting. So the maybe changeling is kind of do that Klingon thing where they kind of toss the dagger between their hands as they advance on Mori. And Mori, you're going to be our lucky target for this. Let me go ahead and roll their dice here. I'm actually going to give them an additional die with threat. Let's expand out that 33 to see what's entailed. So, Mori, in order to not get daggered, I need you to roll me a daring security at a difficulty of 3 here.
I'm gonna say, does bladed weapons focus do anything? Maybe
Most definitely.
All right. Here we go.
Remember, you do have... Oh, don't even need it. Don't even need it. You just get 3 successes right off the bat. So that means actually you're able to counterattack with either your fists or your melee weapon, your choice.
Fists and judo as a focus comes in handy when you've got someone who is advancing at you with a weapon. This is exactly when you use their momentum against them, do judo shit. So I am going to try to grapple him and do some damage. Let's dislocate something.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me your unarmed strike damage. And you can do that by either clicking the little button next to unarmed strike, or you can click perform challenge and put the number in that way.
Let's see. Let's just click the button.
Okay. So you only did 2 damage and 2 effects here. Do you wish to spend momentum to reroll those blank die? It would be 1 momentum, and you could reroll as many of those as you wished.
So 2 effects, 2 successes. Okay, this is a dumb question, but unarmed strike damage is listed at 5. What does the 2 effects and successes do to that?
Yeah, actually, I think this is. Did we go over? It's been long enough. I'll just go over it again. So, you rolled 5, and the 2 effects, the little comm badges there, those count as 1 plus an effect. So, for example, if you were using a disruptor pistol, they have the vicious quality, which means that an effect does extra damage. Unarmed strike has the knockdown quality, meaning that you could knock down. You could knock down someone if you rolled an effect. So at the moment, you'd be doing just 2 stress damage, but actually with Knas doing an example for me, thank you.
I didn't mean to. I meant to read I thought that was going to let me read the details. And
No,
it
you're
was the
good.
wrong button.
This is good, actually. It's a good example. So you see how there's this little this little gray bar that says Vicious 1 underneath 8 damage die? What that means is that each effect there is actually 2 instead of 1. So instead of 8 damage, it would have been 10 damage, if that makes sense.
Okay, so he only has 2 damage, but he's knocked down at the moment, right?
Well, I need to know whether or not you're going to be re-rolling any of the damage die before I tell you what happens.
I'd rather have him be knocked down, so no, we're going to keep those as is.
Okay. So what's going to happen is you go to maybe judo throw or, kind of flip them or throw them on their back. But what happens is that while they do go to the ground, in a very sickening display perhaps, instead of them falling onto their back, their arms and legs bend the wrong way and catch themselves before you slam them onto their back.
Gross.
Yep.
That's
Well,
fine.
there's our answer.
Still made physical contact with him. There's still changeling sap on me. Come on. Let's see what you could do.
All right. Well, he only gets 1 more action per round unless I spend threats. So I'm going to say that his next action is actually going to be a grapple of some kind against Mori. Now, I should make it clear that grapple rules are horrendous in this system as they are in every other system that has grapple. So we're just going to kind of homebrew it a little bit here to keep things moving. So it is going to be an opposed daring and security, and I'll give him 1 additional die with threat. Let's expand out that 21. So, oh dear. So, Mori, in order to not be grappled, I need you to roll me 4 successes here on a daring security.
That's fine. I don't have to let him to be intact. He just has to stay here. I'm going to put judo as a focus because we're still doing judo things, kind of.
Also,
And
feel free
remember,
to spend some momentum. Or
I was going to say, yeah, you do have momentum to buy additional dice if you so wish.
Yeah, let's buy. I'm going to take 2 momentum if that's okay with the crowd, just to make sure.
It would be 3 momentum unless you wanted to give me a threat.
Wait, so is it 3 momentum for 1 die? Is that it?
No, so it's 1 momentum for 1 die, and then it's 2 momentum for the next die. Let me see if I can find the infographic for
Oh,
it.
got it. So, okay. Then
Because this is one of the very
I'll-
confusing things about momentum.
Mhm.
All right, here, let me grab this
He could
image.
use his
use
determination as well there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
don't want to blow it too early. Besides, he's tied down. That's the important part. We have a security team. We have backup on the way. It is not important to all or nothing win this one. We got something here, and there's now physical contact, so we've got something
Yeah,
usable.
me and Dagon still aren't even there, so then the numbers will be even more in our favor. I think we'll
But
be
yeah,
okay
I'm
as long as he
not
doesn't
gonna blow-
run successfully.
Yeah, I don't want to blow too much momentum too early. I'll probably just go with the 1 die, unless the rules say nope, it's just 2 total.
No, I mean, if you want to roll 3 dice, you would just spend 1 momentum.
We'll do that. I'm clicking minus, and it doesn't want to do anything.
There it goes.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, and I'm just putting number of dice in pool of 3, right?
Yep. Wow.
Well, son of a gun.
Yeah,
Nicely
4
done.
successes actually means that you can not only counterattack, but completely avoid the grapple if you so wish.
Nice.
In one of those wonderful moments, and if anybody has seen Bloodsport recently, maybe you hear a bunch of Klingons chanting "Kumite, Kumite."
Nice.
We're gonna do one of those little down on the ground, rolls, grab him by the weirdly rejointed ankle, and try to figure four leg lock that sucker, reversing the grapple entirely.
I like it. I like it. So let's be clear here. You're grappling but not dealing damage, correct?
Oh, I'm happy to deal damage. We need this thing stuck here. If it's in pieces and conscious, or in one piece and unconscious, either is fine. So whatever happens, happens.
Okay. For sake of argument, let's say that you just get him in a good grapple for the time being. At this point, though, it is time for Akrak and Dagon to beam in. So Akrak and Dagon, you beam into the crematorium, and you see that Colonel Mori is wrestling with a Klingon that has limbs going the wrong direction, and Kanas is by the body with her disruptor pistol out.
I hope you have brought a Ziploc bag. We have some liquid to contain.
Beautiful. Okay, cool. So it goes to us, and then we do have that security team, I guess, on the way, which will be here in who knows when. Dagon, would you like to go first? Do you have anything super special for your thinking, or you want me to just get in there?
Nothing.
Copy that. I want to get in there and help.
Using force fields for containment, but I don't know how this ship is detailed out.
Lock Guy and me down. Whatever you do, don't let him out. If he juices and goes to a floor grate, it's gonna suck.
Yeah, I'm gonna come try to assist. We're just gonna kind of try to make this guy go to sleep.
Okay, well, the good news is Akrak and Dagon can go one right after each other, and I'm going to say that such an advanced vessel as the Honasto has similar force fields like a Starfleet vessel, so you could potentially set up force fields around a specific room. No issue. It would just be an engineering roll required to do it.
Nice.
Yep, I'll do that.
Yeah, let's let you do that now.
Okay, so let's actually do Dagon first then.
Yeah.
So Dagon, this is going to be a control and an engineering. The difficulty on this is just a 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Get us that yummy momentum.
All right, 2 successes. You get a momentum back for your trouble. And yeah, Dagon, let's be specific here. Are you just force fielding the crematorium? Are you doing this section of the ship? Like, how large is the force field barrier?
I'm going to contain it to the room.
To the room. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we now go to Akrak. Akrak, what would you like to do?
Yeah, let's see. I'm just going to get in there and assist Mori in trying to lock this thing down and make sure it can't get out of here. It hasn't done any liquid stuff yet, right? It's still
solid, if a little wrong looking.
Okay, well, we want to try to keep it that way. So yeah, unarmed strikes. I don't want to use any bladed weapons, I don't think, because we might split it off into multiple pieces.
Okay. So
don't T-1000 the guy.
Yeah, T-1000 him. Just slowly go through the metal grate.
And then those multiple pieces might do weird stuff. Pound him in the face. Yeah. I'm just going to try to beat him up.
All right, well, the good news is that Mori has them in a grapple, technically, so your attack will hit immediately. You still have to roll to make sure you don't roll a complication, but this will be a daring security difficulty of 0.
Copy that.
Yeah, so you get 2 momentum back for your trouble.
Because I did not mean to check a focus. I had melee weapons checked, but it's technically not.
So then you only have 1 momentum, so it would be 5 momentum total.
Correct.
Okay.
Copy. My apologies.
All good, all good. Go ahead and roll me your unarmed strike damage. Okay, so again, do you wish to spend a momentum to reroll any of those damage dice?
Yeah.
He's still knocked down. Let's knock him out.
Yeah, I'll give it a momentum and I'll reroll the, I guess the 4. Now, if I click reroll results down here, will it do all of them?
I'm not sure because I usually just do perform challenge when it comes to this.
Right. Copy. I will also just do that then.
Okay, that is significant because you go from 2 successes to a grand total of 7.
That's pretty good.
With how many effects? That's 5 effects. So here's what happens. You go for what I presume is a punch to the face?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you punch them in the face, and for once, the maybe changeling actually does kind of grunt in pain, as if everything else up to this point hasn't even touched them at all. But they do let out a grunt of pain, not enough to be injured and taken out of combat, but they do suffer some stress damage as the face kind of slightly liquefies and then reforms to kind of trap your hand as it is in their face, if that makes sense to you.
Totally fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And that is the end of round 1. We go to round 2. The changeling gets to go first. And I think the changeling is going to just go almost completely liquid at this point, still keeping your hand in its face, but the rest of its body is going to shift and turn into kind of a tentacle creature of some kind, where it just has lashes of that orange, like golden orange liquid, as the tendrils go to slap Mori across the face to get Mori off of them. So Mori, let me see. You know what? I'll give a threat for this one. I think that's fair. Let me expand out. Oh, 39, not a great roll, but let's expand that out. Well, they've rolled 2 successes and a complication. Interesting.
All right.
So I need to see 3 successes from a daring security from Mori.
I don't suppose there's a judo focus for don't get slapped by a tentacle?
I mean, you could still apply judo. I would apply it.
Sure. Ancient techniques in Mokbara to, I don't know, dodge getting slapped after making a untasteful remark to somebody in a bar. Here we go.
Here you go. Another 3 successes.
Nice.
And again, you can counterattack if you so wish.
Can my counterattack be grasp that tentacle in my teeth? He's going for the face. I'm just gonna grab, yank, and go down with that bad Klingon dentistry.
I can't think of any way this could fail.
Right.
Absolutely none.
What's the worst that could happen?
Do you want the good
look,
news or
we're
do you want the
Klingons.
bad news?
Yeah.
Bad news is that changelings don't taste good.
Yeah, they taste absolutely horrible. And in fact, what I'm going to say is that you are going to suffer... Oh, how much damage do I even make this? Let's make this 2 damage. Why the hell not? Or two challenge dice, I should say. So you actually, you take 2 stress damage as you bite into the changeling, and it is the most wretched, most pungent, most absolutely awful thing you have ever tasted in your life. And for the moment, you are just overcome with how bad of a taste this is. It is so absolutely repulsive that you do take that 2 stress damage.
Okay, that was the bad
On the
news.
bright
What's the good
side, you're
news?
going to really enjoy Heart of Targ.
I would say
That's exhausting.
brushing your teeth will never be more enjoyable after this.
Yeah. The good news, though, is that you do stop the tentacle from actually hitting you, so well done there. But it is now the player's turn. So who among you would like to act?
So I have a just like a kind of what we know and don't know question, right? So we know changelings can be, deleted pretty aptly by disruptor fire.
Yep.
Now, so would it be reasonable to assume that if we do chop off limb of changeling, right, they lose some liquid, and then a disruptor shot would hit that limb of liquid, would that significantly weaken them or disable them some because they've lost a chunk of themselves?
I would rule it, yeah, but you would have to spend 1 melee attack with a weapon of some kind to get the limb off, and then you'd have to then disruptor the limb. So it would be a
so I'm in
two-pronged
melee range. Yeah, I'm in melee range with Dr. Tog, and Doctor already has disruptor out, right? So I was thinking I could just do like a setup thing, just try to chop off a limb and yell to the doc to just shoot the limb with the disruptor full blast as soon as it separates, if that
You
does
chop
succeed.
it. You chop it. I'll spit it out real high up, and
Yeah.
Honasto will just get it midair.
Yeah, exactly. We do a nice seal trick.
I was thinking tennis, but that works too.
Yeah. So I'd like to begin with the dagger. To I'm kind of on top of him. I'd like to try to take the dog tog under the armpit and do a nice little twist up to remove whatever the arm was that was trying to hit Mori, or whatever that arm was.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a daring security difficulty of 1, and the changeling, of course, gets their own roll here. That could actually be an issue for you. Hold on. Yeah, I'm gonna need to see 3 successes from you here.
Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna. I'm gonna spend 3 of that momentum. I'll go to 4 die.
Okay.
And we're gonna hopefully commit to it. Melee weapons focus.
Oh
my
that is-
lord!
I
That
think you
is-
did.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah,
Wow.
so you actually get 4 momentum back for your trouble, so you're up
Hell
to
yeah.
5 momentum. if I
Return
have it
on
correctly.
investment.
Yeah, power.
Now, you also will deal damage as you slice off this limb, so go ahead and roll your dagger's damage here. Okay, now this is very important here because you actually have rolled enough damage and effects to injure the changeling. So what's going to happen is you slice off a large tendril and it falls to the ground, but the changeling lets out a screech of pain, and either it's just not a very good changeling that's, skilled at combat, or, there's a lot of factors at play here, but what matters is that the changeling is actually going to reform its face. It's going to let go of its hold via the face fist thing situation. It's going to let go of that hold.
Yeah.
It's going to reform the Klingon head and be like, stop. All right, I surrender. And the question is, do you actually stop, or do you keep attacking it?
We're Klingons. We don't take surrenders. We take prisoners.
However, if we kill him, we're getting 0 answers.
Yeah.
Let's just bring the bucket.
Yeah, we can't
Keep
kill
him contained.
We can terribly name
questions.
him. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
He's already
I think-
he's already contained, General.
Yeah, I think because you set up your little
Force
little
field around the
force
room there.
field, so
Mm-hmm.
we got him here, and I mean, all things considered, this is the best place for him to really be. There's no like major civilians, not a lot of people around. We're in medical, so
Maury's gonna. You are disgusting and dishonorable. But the first thing he's gonna do once the changeling is kind of I guess the word quiesced or docile, Maury's gotta walk over and open the eyes of that Beck, and someone needs to scream for this brave warrior who
Mhm.
gave his life in pursuit and apprehension of this dishonorable
In
car.
combat.
In combat. Once we're out of combat, of course.
I mean, at this point, combat's over unless one of you wants to continue wailing on the changeling.
okay, cool. I'm okay with not wailing on him. I think this is a good situation we found ourselves in.
Dagon has his arms crossed and he's just looking.
Is the severed arm a tendril-fied, or is it arm-fied? If that makes sense.
I would say it has just kind of become useless orange gold goo on the deck plating.
Nice.
All right. Do we have does anybody have a turkey baster on this ship or anything to suck this evidence up?
I'm sure we could replicate one, yeah.
Yeah, like what are our options here?
I mean, I find it funny that there's a such thing as a Klingon turkey baster, so why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Look, you have to, seasoning food. There's no not honor in that.
It's either that or we have to talk about tools used in targ husbandry, and I don't know the technical terms. So
God.
we gotta contain this goo.
Someone here in the morgue has their lunchbox in a locker somewhere. I'm sure he can provide that.
Ship's cook could definitely provide us with the baster.
There you go.
All
All
right, so
right,
we've got this guy contained. So there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, as you said, you have the changeling contained. They probably are going to be receptive to questioning, but this is where we're going to take a 5 to 10 minute break. We'll be back
Copy
shortly,
that.
everybody. Stick around.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wow.
Some of the ships.
Nice.
And welcome back to part 2 of session 4 of Star Trek Honasto, where the players have cornered the changeling that they were looking for. And I just want to say that this all happened because of a single complication, which is one of the beautiful things about this system.
good.
But in general, again, at this point, the Changeling has quote-unquote reverted to standard NPC Klingon look. You basically have them at your mercy if you wish to interrogate or do whatever with them. The room is still sealed by force fields. You have the body of the fallen Lieutenant Traxag, and that's just sort of the scene at the moment. Oh, there's also the dead body of the poor Beck that was manning the crematory, but details.
We'll give him.
Oh, no.
glory.
Maury is probably the first to go and check the eyes and scream. This is a brave warrior.
I agree.
He
I
died
agree.
well.
He died in combat.
Yeah. All right, so you do the stereotypical Klingon death yell,
Yeah,
and then
we'll give him a
what do you do
shout.
after that?
Yep.
Load him into the crematorium and do their thing. What else will we do?
The changeling.
Mhm.
I mean, that's fine.
True, I guess. The body can wait. It means nothing now.
It'll stay warm. Yeah, I'll pull out the disruptor pistol, aim it at the little like arm of goo.
Mhm.
Like, you're going to answer all of our questions, or we're going to start removing pieces of you and see how little of a changeling can remain while you can still be sentient.
And I think the Changeling just sort of nods. Doesn't say anything, but just sort of nods in acceptance.
What is your purpose here?
And the Changeling's actually going to point over at the body of Traxag and say, "What I tell you would dishonor him in his house."
Changeling, the general is reenacting a ritual which you may have heard of from the humans. It goes into their fiction, and it is loosely called bad cop, good cop. Now, you would think that the one threatening you with pain and suffering is the bad cop. I assure you, the general is the good cop. I am the worst cop. And Maury's going to get down and kind of nudge the toe of his boot into the Changeling's arm socket and just nudge it a little bit.
Okay.
We care little for your concepts of honor. We care only for answers.
Presence and command, difficulty of... let's make it a 3.
Okie doke.
Is there something that I could assist with?
You can assist with your own presence, and since you're using a disruptor, you can assist with presence security.
I'm also going to claim that this is persuasion. We are trying to persuade him to give us something.
Yeah, this would definitely be persuasion. And as a reminder on assists always roll 1 die.
You said difficulty 3, right?
Difficulty of 3. Yep.
I'm going to spend a momentum just to be safe.
Okay. All right, well, there's 2 successes with a complication. Let's see if a crack gets you... Survey says, yes, you do get your 3. I'm actually just going to bank threat for that complication. And yeah, what that's going to mean at the end of the day is the Changeling is going to grunt a little because Klingon boots have that spike at the end, so it's a little uncomfortable. The Changeling's going to grunt and says, all right. I mostly was just trying to save the House of Lori some honor.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sorry.
No,
we
you
both
go
have
ahead.
commanding bloodline, so would that remove the complication there?
Oh, yeah, it's been a while. Commanding Bloodline, that's
Yeah.
the one that ignores the first complication, right?
Yeah,
Complication,
and I think
yeah.
he rolled with command. I did not, but I was still
Yeah,
technically assisting.
When,
Yeah.
when you attempt a command task or attempt to assist another character using command, you ignore the first complication.
Then I don't get that threat. Good call. All right, so the Changeling is going to say, as I said, I care more about my survival at this point than I do the House of Lori, despite how much they have done for me and my fellows, but you will find a data chip in Traxag's right forearm. It is encrypted, and I can give you the cipher, but it will only confirm what I am about to tell you.
Okay.
Need I remind you who the good cop is, Shapeshifter?
Then
It was
they
me.
just sort of look at you and nod. And then they go on to say, approximately 2 years ago, Traxag and other members of House Laurie stumbled upon several of the 100, or what my people call the children of the Great Link that were sent out many, 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 many centuries ago. I am one of those children, if you will. There are 2 of my fellows as well that were discovered by House Laurie. And instead of eradicating us, as many Klingons would have, House Laurie saw a opportunity that if they had a Klingon warrior that could become a changeling, an even better warrior perhaps than some Klingons, though I am doubting that claim, that perhaps we could be a great weapon for them in a mission such as the Honastos.
Huh. Okay.
Where are the others? You spoke of 2 others. Where are they?
They are also aboard the vessel, though I do not have a significant way of contacting them now that Traxag is dead.
You will give us the cipher immediately.
And he actually looks over to Captain Dagon and gives you the cipher.
Okay. I take it. I can record it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, out of character, do we have any way to... I forget what the S9 episode was. They had that thing that stopped Odo from going into the bucket. Do we have any way to replicate that?
You do, but I would just caution that just remember it is a PG-13 game, so that was a little torture scene what they did on DS9.
Well, let me rephrase. Is there any way... do we have anything that can contain this changeling without us constantly hovering?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you want to replicate a container for them to be in that you can, cart around, we can certainly say
A
you can do
Ziploc
that.
bag.
Okay. So you stated that House Laurie contacted you. It was 2 years ago, yes, and Traxag was your primary point of contact for you and your others?
Well, they discovered us, yes.
And Traxag was the only other person on board the Honasto that knew of you and the others' presence on board the ship.
Well, the rest of House Laurie was also in on it, so the House Laurie knows.
Who else from House Laurie was present when you thought it a good idea to strike him down in public?
That was actually one of my fellows. I am just here to, shall we say, clean up the mess they left behind.
Why did one of your fellows kill what you claimed was an ally?
And you can see that the Changeling is hesitating, but he's already been, seeing the bad cop, worst cop routine, and he thinks better of testing your patience and just says, I believe that my fellow, from what I understand of the situation, believed that Traxag was going to dispose of us now that that House Laurie had achieved its place within the hollowed ranks of the Honasto crew, that we were no longer needed.
Hallowed Reichs. He was a navigator. Surely,
so lowly a goal.
You would think that anybody willing to compromise not only the Empire's gains in the Dominion War, but the entire standing of their honor, would have at least the hope to command a vessel.
And you have not a single way of contacting the other changelings that are on board the ship? No fail-safes? No backup plans on backup plans?
No, that was by design. House Laurie wanted to make it clear that should any one of us be discovered, that we couldn't sell out the other 2.
All right. I'm gonna see if I can. I don't know if there's a way to, I guess, use a psychology focus here, but I don't know. Maury's gonna start going on and just shaking his head. What a waste of the tip of my boot. It is clear that the founders of the Changeling are little more than anything they could have hoped for. How you came to control the Gamma Quadrant through anything other than simply simpering your way at your foes speaks ill of the entire quadrant, let alone the patak puddles that you are. And Maury's going to kind of scrape the tip of his boot on the floor and try to maybe provoke the Changeling into giving a little bit more. Get a little bit angry.
Give me a presence and security here. Let's call it a difficulty of 3. And I'll let you use your psychology as a focus.
Yeah. Let's see. I am gonna spend 1 momentum here just to be safe.
All right.
Sorry, wrong direction. I don't know why that thing takes forever.
Yeah, it just depends on if Foundry wants to cooperate, really.
Exactly.
Okay, so 2 successes, meaning I can offer you a success with a complication.
I will. You said security, right? Okay. Yeah, I'll take the complication.
Okay. So the Changeling is going to rise to your provocation. He will rise up from his position on the floor. And he does get a little tall. Like, he does lengthen his limbs so that he's now taller than you. And he says, "It was not me that was involved within the great war between our two peoples. As I said, I was a child discovered far after the Dominion War. But I will not have you speak illy of my people."
Sorry, I'm just taking down notes. What is it? Maury's got to look at the little guy getting up. The fact that you only have 2 legs upon which to stand and 1 arm with which to waggle does not speak much to the fact that you had many, many opportunities before, during, and after the war to reveal yourself and seek some form of honor. Yet here you are, flailing.
Perhaps your ears have been clogged like a useless targ. I was discovered 2 years ago, far after the Dominion War occurred.
And yet, here you are, not among anything other than your own dishonorable self, having hidden all this time, speaking volumes to you and your fellows, and what motives we can trust. I see no reason to make you suffer, but you will be our guest for a time until your words and your honor are proven.
I think, again, he's just going to kind of point at the body and say, "The answers are there. Your engineer merely need to remove the chip and run it through the cipher."
Oh, we don't need a full autopsy kit to do that.
Yeah, you can.
Nope.
No roll required. You can just remove the chip from the forearm, and Dagon, if you want to apply the cipher, you certainly may. Though what I would tell you is that there would still be a roll required.
Can't snap the chip.
Yeah.
Should we be doing this with the Changeling still around, or should we kind of, get him undercover first?
If we're still secured in an area, I don't think it matters. Either it reveals what he says, or it does. Like, I don't think it's gonna matter.
But we also don't want word to get back to any other members of the House of Laurie or the 2 remaining Changelings. We don't want to blow cover here.
All right.
Well, this guy doesn't know the other 2 Changelings is part of the problem.
He doesn't. But if the rest of the crew sees something.
But we're still contained within the morgue, right? Like, shields are up, doors are closed.
Right,
There's
yeah.
no one else in here.
We're still secured. So as long as this locked room stays locked, we're okay for now as we figure out what we're going to do with these spineless fools.
Yeah, I think everyone obviously will keep our voices down, try not to make any crazy things going on. But
dig out the chip there.
I think we're fine here.
Do I need to roll to dig out the chip?
No, it's just the cipher that requires the roll.
Nice.
But what I am going to say is the chat just gave me some threat. I'm going to spend that threat immediately to increase the difficulty from a 2 to a 4 for a control and engineering to decipher what's on that chip.
I'm going to use my determination.
Okay.
And let's see, which value am I going to... Knowledge is a weapon. Use it wisely.
Okay, I like it.
Nice.
And then I think let's see. That would boost it up to. That would take the remaining momentum to get an extra dice there.
Okay.
Yep.
No problems.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'd say go for it because the determination gives you 2 successes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I say go for it.
And
I have a feeling you'll get some momentum back here, anyways.
yep, maybe.
Okay, so that is a
Well,
grand total of 4 successes, which is exactly what you need. So yeah, Dagon, you actually, according to what's on the chip, you have personal logs from members of House Laurie. You have the astrometrics logs of where they found these 3 changelings. You have recordings of several conversations alluding to the fact that once, House Laurie is embedded within the Honasto's crew, that a series of honor duels and the like will eventually elevate them to captaining the fine vessels. So they were planning to, eventually get their own command. You just this all fell apart before it got there.
A conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. But to answer your earlier question that you did in Discord, all of House Laurie is aboard the vessel. So that's about 40 or 50 individuals from House Laurie that are aboard.
Oh, that's.
I feel.
And
I
they're
feel
all in
like
on
there's a whole
this?
bunch of Cimmerians.
Yeah, supposedly, if what you read in that ciphered logs are correct, all of them were in on this.
What was the name of what changeling? Like the name that he was going by in his Klingon form? Was he using the same kind of alias?
Well, no. You never asked his name, so I never gave it.
Yeah, very true. I would like to, while we're here, and I guess while we're learning that information, I will pose that question to this changeling: if he had multiple aliases, or if he had one that he was going by.
I went by I.K.S, son of Rock. And I put it in Founder.
Of which house? Of which house?
Yeah,
of House Laurie.
Of House
okay.
Laurie.
All right, so probably safe to assume then the other changelings are also posing as calling themselves House Laurie. So that narrows it down slightly. However, at least that's only on paper we can track them. Their appearances, of course.
Right.
Could we track them through something derived from a sample of the active
bioscan of sorts?
Yeah. So you wish to use your tricorder and the Honasto sensors to maybe sniff out the other 2 changelings?
Yeah.
Or at least keep tabs on them. We want to have a rough idea, or as close as we can, to where they are.
Yeah. Submit. We got 3 firm-blooded Klingons and then 1 fakie here, so let's see what.
I'm just trying to think, because technically, rules is written, changelings are supposed to be difficulty 5 to detect.
Right.
So, but I do want to give you all the chance to succeed here. So here's what I'm going to do. Dagon and I.K.S, you 2 working together. Dagon, you would be doing a reason engineering. I.K.S, you would be doing a reason medicine. I'll let you decide who's assisting whom. It will be a difficulty of 5, and if you succeed on this, you will have a means to modify the Honasto's sensors to scan for changelings aboard the vessel.
Okay.
So we don't have any momentum left to spend. Is this something that we want to manufacture threat on? There's got to be.
We can spend. I say spend all the threat to get all the die for 5.
Or determination. This would be a good time to throw some in.
I already blew my determination.
Yeah, they both already used
Dagon, same thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And we can't use our determination because we're not the primary rollies here.
Trying to see if I have any focuses that might help out.
Could it, or what about challenging a value to get some determination back? This might be one of those times when maybe it's like a I.K.S thing where she can't save someone deliberately, she's going against a lot of codes. I don't know.
Looking at my values, and I'm not seeing anything that would really tie in. Might be a bit of a stretch, but because this conniving is super not honorable. That's for certain. Consorting with changelings, hella not honorable.
I don't really see a good value for Knas to challenge. Let me look at Dagon's real quick.
I was gonna say maybe Dagon would have it, but I don't think Honasto does.
I mean, maybe this going in with the whole "a life without risk is no life at all." The idea of tracking changelings removes risks. It's kind of making it easier.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite the same. I think that's more of a.
I don't know, Kern, do you think I'm looking at your values and I don't see any that Dagon might challenge in this instance.
I don't either.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to come
concur.
down to the fact that well, for lack of a better term, you're going to have to give me some threat to have a chance.
Yeah.
Here's a thought.
We still have to determine who's the primary and who's the assist.
Oh, true.
So
Yeah.
I have a thought, and I don't know if this will help or not. With intelligence officer,
Yes.
wait, does this still count as the last as the same
It's still
mission?
the same mission, unfortunately, so you can't use
Screw it.
intelligence officer again.
Sorry.
No, good thinking.
Hey,
Wait,
nice try though. It's
Actually,
good
wait,
that-
wait. Hold up. The only time I used that was something about Glory Thar's anatomy or whatever to try to do whatever to help her. Is that the same mission, or are we now on separate missions? Since that was before?
No. If I remember my notes correctly, you ended up spending your intelligence advantage to get a feel for the Changeling spycraft after the
You're right.
Dominion War.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's what
you
I
are
have in my
correct.
notes
Never
as well.
mind.
I do have bold medicine though, which will allow us to re-roll if we have.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit because we're
yeah.
adding. So it says if you buy one or more d20s with adding
Mhm.
threat, you may re-roll a single d20. So we've got a little bit of a security blanket.
Yeah.
I think that's the best
that
I can offer up.
So that would make you the primary and I'd be the assist.
Oh yeah, no pressure. It's fine.
This is just a stretch, but just so we're going through our things, I do have attaché. If you would consider this a social conflict involving a foreign culture,
Let me check.
Actually, now that I think about it, I should roll an effect for see if I can get my determination back.
Oh yeah, roll veteran. Veteran's
I have
very
veteran.
important.
it's true. Veteran is very important. Yeah. Also, scratch my attaché question. It is just with momentum. I thought I could spend momentum or
Nope.
threat to do the effect. I cannot.
So I didn't get my I didn't get an effect
Well, then,
there.
yeah,
so
I think
didn't
just
get my
spend all the
determination.
threat.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're good. Spend all the threat. You get
But
all
in
your 5
In my
die.
case, I don't need to worry about it because I'm just doing the assist. So
True.
it's just one
Yeah.
dice.
All right, so if you're going to be rolling 5 dice there, Knas, that would be a grand total of 6 threat you'd have to give me.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So
the assist succeeded, so that's only need 4 now.
all right, cool.
Wait, isn't
so
6 threat enough to like spawn a board cube?
No, Borg Cube's
Don't
13.
say it that loud.
13, yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So all right, just to make sure. So this is perform task still, right? Or challenge.
This
Perform
is still a
task.
perform task.
Level 4 task. Okay, so no focus, no determination or value, unfortunately. Complication range. So dice in the pool is 5. So
Yes.
all right, all in, and I can re-roll one of them if I
Mhm.
bomb it.
No,
Okay,
you
let's-
don't need it. That's a grand
Nice.
total of 7
Wow.
successes.
Go.
So you
Yeah.
actually get 2 momentum back for your trouble.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah!
And yeah, Dagon and Knas working together, you believe you have a now way to scan for changelings aboard the Honasto.
Yeah, mentally compiling notes for the opera that we're going to write about
It's
this.
gonna be a heck of an opera. Yeah, but like shifty changelings, that is 100% not honorable. Come out in the open. Come out in the open. Don't be
Seize them
sulking
with their
around.
teeth.
We don't
Seek
need this
them with their
Romulan
teeth.
nonsense.
Okay, so I need to go to a replicator to get get a containment unit for
Mhm.
the changeling, and B, start programming into the sensors the required information to scan for changelings. So that's 2 things I need to do
Do I need to go back
outside
to
of this room.
Yeah, do I need to go back to the medical lab to synthesize anything? Because I wouldn't have any equipment here. I don't know what I would need to
Well, what I would say is that as part of this highly successful roll is the Honasto, since it is such a large vessel, it is meant to be modular. It is meant to be modified from nearly anywhere on the ship. So if you want, you would just have to pull out your tricorder to connect with the ship and manually, or I should say remotely, add in the sensor changes if you wanted to do a scan from the morgue.
Okay.
Nice.
What about the containment unit?
Containment you can easily replicate from in here, so
Cool.
easy enough
Okay.
to do.
Okay. Okay.
But the
I'll do
question
that.
is, do you scan now or do you inform the admiral before scanning?
How close is the admiral to House Laurie?
Now that is a very good question. I'm actually going to spend
Oh no.
2 of the threat you just gave me
Mm.
that you would all know as part of this investigation that Admiral Zark has specifically allowed House Laurie aboard because he owed Laurie a blood debt.
Was that blood
Okay.
debt before or after the changeling nonsense came down?
Before.
Okay,
But it's,
well, that's
it's
good.
just
That's fine.
allowing them on was the blood debt, right? It
Yeah,
wasn't
Blood debt
yeah.
fulfilled. Yeah, that's how I'm
Yeah.
taking that.
All right, so the books are wiped clean. That's fair.
Yeah, they're even.
Yeah, and we don't
Blood
necessarily have
debt's
to.
yeah.
Yeah, the admiral's not necessarily in their pocket to keep
Right.
them successful. Maybe he
Blood debts
maybe at
don't-
some point.
Yeah, they don't trump also complete dishonor of trying to bring changelings on board to cheat your way to the top. So
He let
should
them
be
on.
fine.
The rest is up to them.
yeah, exactly, and he will probably be unhappy with how they have done things.
But we don't necessarily
I
have
sense-
to hide it from the admiral. We can
Correct.
at least kind of work with the whole. You told us to keep it quiet. We did just that.
I have a feeling we're going to be having summary execution soon.
Yeah, I think that this changeling that we have here is probably ending its usefulness.
You never underestimate
Well-
the usefulness of a changeling. Well, that's what House Laurie did. We have
So
plenty
I'll
of
replicate-
juicers.
I'll replicate the container and get him to go in it after we're done with him there.
Yeah, he'll go
If
into
we're
the
done with
containment unit, no problem.
Alrighty.
We trust that
Secure
this
it.
bucket is comfortable.
I mean, he's lived as a Klingon his 2 years of life, so comfortable is relative.
Indeed.
It's a very firm bucket.
All right.
It
So
has
again,
its-
I have
it
to
has its
ask:
own,
are you going
force
to
field.
bring in Admiral Zark before you scan, or are you going to scan for those 2 changelings?
Would the skin alert the admiral if we did it?
I mean, someone might check in and be like, "Hey, what was that scan for?" But I mean, it's such a large ship that it's going to take at least a week for the paperwork to catch up to you.
We should at least still have something plausible. If the other 2 changelings are keeping an eye out or have the ability to do so, we don't want to tip our hand. I guess how do we
So
manufacture something?
Let's do the scan.
Yeah, I say
Without consulting the
scan
admiral.
and bring as few people into it as possible. At
he
the
did-
moment.
He did tell us to keep a low profile, so we're
Yeah.
keeping a low profile.
We'll give
Right,
him
but
a
if
full
we-
report
if-
later.
Right, but if it runs the skin and it records something somewhere, what if the enemy is watching or listening or has ears in on it?
We'll ask for permission later.
All right.
Expediency.
So you run the scan, and as usual, I have good news and bad news.
Uh-huh.
The good news is that you are able to pinpoint that the 2 changelings are actually on the main command deck of the Honasto. The bad news is that they are on the main command deck of the Honasto.
Exactly.
Do we know like what stations or what their responsibilities are?
So I would say if you want to give me a momentum, I can answer that question.
Get the momentum.
So one of them is seated at one of the many flight controller stations that
Makes
is
sense.
aboard the main command deck. The other one is seated at one of the ops consoles that handles engineering matters for the bridge.
Uh-huh. Now I'm taking it personally.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we gotta get them off of the bridge.
Well, we
Could
don't
we
have
manufacture?
to contain these two,
Yeah.
so we can just go beam in and use our disruptors to disrupt
Yeah.
them.
Could we maybe manufacture some kind of critical enough ops or engineering problem that Dagon feels the need to challenge the ops guy, like as a legitimate Klingon thing, and we use that to
No.
cover and take out both of
Oh
them?
no,
I mean, they're not legitimate
No, we-
Klingons.
Yeah, so I think as soon as
that-
we
that-
go in, I
That
guess
sounds like scheming like a Romulan here.
yeah, we're not gonna going with that.
It's not very Klingon.
But
You know what? That's true.
they wouldn't necessarily know what the scan was or that they pinged it, right? Like they might have just been like, "Oh, look, it's beeping again."
Yeah, it's one of those things where, again, the ship is large enough, there's enough people accessing the ship systems that a scan like this isn't going to immediately raise concern.
Then yeah, you're right. This is an absolute Klingon thing. They have committed massive acts of dishonor. We've got a record to write here.
Yeah, and they suck. They're changelings. Nobody likes them. I like the idea of bridge. Hey, those two are changelings. Watch this, and then we take
Wait a
the
minute.
problem.
I've got a thought here.
In general, I have a recommendation as well. I think you should give orders to the security to
Move to the bridge.
detain all House Laurie.
Yeah.
Laurie.
I think that's probably a good idea. If not, well, I don't know if detaining them now would be the best thing. It's a lot of people, but at least like track their work or shift their like move their shifts around.
It's a drop in the bucket on this ship.
Maybe we kind of
15,000 soldiers here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, or at least try to get security to be ready to secure the bridge, and I guess if there's a secondary bridge, make sure that no scheming Laurie talks get to it.
There are other officers on the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
that's not. I'm not worried about that.
Did we return the arm to the Changeling before we bucketed him, or do we still have some goo?
Up to you.
I'd like to say that we hung on to some goo.
I mean, we couldn't scoop up all that goo anyway, so we didn't have a turkey baster.
Right.
Well, when the time comes to throw down the gauntlet, or backhand with the intent to kill, let's backhand them with the Changeling goo so they know what's up instantly. Exposing them.
Yeah. Yes. Again, scheming like a Romulan. But let's just shoot our disruptors. Say Changeling, boom. Changeling, boom.
Right. That guy's a changeling. I can prove it. See how he melts?
Yep, that's fair. I like that better than this Romulan subterfuge.
Scheming thing.
Yeah, you know what? Agreed. This is the most. It is a most honorable resolution if we make it happen.
The question now lies. So we're going to kill these other two changelings on the bridge. Are we also going to get rid of this one?
He's contained, so we'll let the Admiral decide what he wants to do with him.
All right, so we'll keep this one as a prisoner, but the other two are not going to be prisoners at the end of this. Is that accurate?
Yeah. The other two are immediate threats. If we can neutralize them by disabling them, cool. If we neutralize them by gooing them permanently, fine. Doesn't matter. They're Pataks. They're beneath honor.
Yeah. I guess I'll inform that security team that I was coming here. Just like reroute to the main bridge, but don't say anything. Just stand outside and await further instructions.
Okay. Yeah, they'll redirect.
And I'll inform them if anyone tries to give them any other orders, tell them to talk to me and don't take orders from anyone else currently unless I tell them to. So,
okay,
just to make sure they're on standby and not getting rerouted for anything.
Understood. And then, to sort of set the scene, are you going to beam into the command deck, or are you going to go there on foot?
Gonna go outside the command deck, just outside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we shimmer into being instantly, that is not honorable.
That's a little suspicious.
We must make our presence known. We are Klingons. We're going to enter that bridge.
We're in the right.
Yeah, well, just outside the external doors there to the bridge.
Okay. So yeah, we'll say that you beam in right outside of the main bridge, and the security team is there waiting for you. And I think one of the officers step forward and says, "Perhaps I am misinterpreting the scenario, but are you attempting to mutiny here?"
You are misinterpreting the scenario. You will be briefed on the severity of this task as soon as it's over, which will hopefully be soon. If I require you, the button will be pressed and you will come in. There are 2 potential threats on the bridge that we will be hopefully removing very quickly. Make sure that no one exits this room.
It is an opportunity to restore honor not only to a lost comrade, but also to our fleet by purging an influence beyond the pale. Rest assured, Beck, this is no mutiny. This is the opposite.
And I think the Beck has enough presence of mind to realize that he doesn't want to question that friend and goes, "Very good, sir. We'll be here."
Good. All right. Let's just make double and triple sure that we'll know exactly who the two people are when we deal with it, so we don't accidentally commit some dishonorable war crimes here.
Not dishonorable, not war crimes.
I'll use the pad to bring up pictures of both of the targets.
Mm-hmm.
That way we can all visually see what they look like.
Yeah, and I say give another confirmed scan as well. Just make sure they haven't, gone to the restroom.
Moved.
Yeah, swapped looks, that sort of thing.
Yeah, they're still at their stations doing their job.
Cool.
All right.
And I guess the question is, are you literally going to walk in and do Pulp Fiction, or are you going to walk in, shout Changeling, and then Pulp Fiction?
Well, something like that. But I was going to say, let's walk in and look like we're going, let's say, to the Admiral's office.
Yeah.
And so that, it's just, two of us at two different, so we have both of them covered at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Should
So
we
we're
at
going to
least...
split. We're going to split the group into two parties. So me and somebody else on one target, and me and the other two on the other target.
Yeah.
Should we at least properly challenge them?
Situation.
Like at least declare
No.
you are whatever.
No, they're changelings.
But we are Klingons.
Not Klingons. We are Klingons, but
Yeah, we're
they're
Klingons. Not. We don't have to give them
We're not changelings.
an honorable fight. We can do the thing of like, hey squad,
It's
that
not
one
like-
there and that one there are changelings. Watch this, and then we attack.
It's not a blood
Yeah.
feud. Then
Exactly,
we
something
can
like
say
that.
changeling. Then we
We
can
call
say
them out and then
changeling,
kill
and the other officers can get involved at that point.
Yeah.
on the
We'll
bridge.
yell, those guys are changelings. Begin the battle. They will most likely defend themselves as changelings, and then they will die.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
Sounds like a
go
plan.
with Dagon to the one, whichever. Are they all right in the same kind of
Ops.
pure bridge? There's ops and bridge, but how connected are they?
Ops.
So the way the main
large
main
bridge.
command deck is set up is there is it's a 2-story or a 2-level bridge where the top level is a long stretch that kind of overlooks the lower levels. In the center of this chair or of this level is a chair in which the admiral would sit, and he kind of has a series of consoles around him that he can see anything that goes on the vessel. The passageway, or not the passageway, the rows of consoles that lead up to that chair handle things like flight ops, engineering, etc. So the two changelings are actually on the second level in the lead up to where the admiral would sit. The second level, or I should say the ground floor, quote unquote, is where a majority of the sciences, the tactical, the other flight controllers, other engineering, things of that nature are located.
Copy.
Are there any other members of House Laurie present that we should worry about possibly siding with the changelings?
Not that you're detecting via your scans, no.
Okay, cool.
Anybody that owes allegiance to House Laurie that might be doing that.
That is a little bit more unclear.
Yeah, it's a tough one to.
So we should keep an eye out that there may be loyalties at play.
Well, yeah. The good thing is, I feel like most of the loyalties will be against changeling, and then
right, true. They're going to be like, "Oh, snap! It's a changeling."
Yeah.
But if there was somebody particularly House Laurie else present who was in on it, I would be concerned.
Yeah,
But
I think that not. I think we're kind of in the clear that there are no House Laurie here. I don't think anyone else is going to ally with the changeling randomly.
Well, we would have thought the same
not-
about House Laurie from the start, but just watch your backs.
If not, they die as well. So.
That's it.
Yeah. I'll.
Executions.
Yeah, exactly. I'll move with Dagon to, I guess, the one upstairs at Ops, and I guess
Ops. Yeah.
Yeah. Maury and I.K.S can deal with the one on the kind of main bridge.
I hope you have some mouthwash handy, Doctor.
Yeah.
All right. So walk me through the order of events here once you are within disruptor distance of these changelings.
I'd say as long as we like double, triple confirm that's the Changeling still getting positive Changeling pings.
Mhm.
I think it would be prudent for a quick, that guy's a Changeling, I'm your superior officer, watch what happens, and then begin battle. And then I'm sure, as long as we're correct on our look, it will be very clearly apparent that this individual is a Changeling, and then we'll probably have some other Klingons to assist us.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
we do the quick stabby wabbies, get them no longer in a threatening posture, and go from there.
Once the
Well, that
balloon
was going
goes
to be
up,
my main
not stab-
question. Are you going to be
I'm not spoiling
stabby?
my doc tog on a Changeling.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you
Yeah,
going to be stabby,
disruptors.
or disruptors?
Just kill. I'm killing this one.
Yep.
I'm not sullying my dagger on a Changeling.
And we don't need any
Completely
more.
valid.
We don't need any more info, so we don't need to keep them alive to answer questions this time.
We have the
around.
one that's still living down in the morgue. If we really
Exactly.
think
We
That's
don't.
it.
We don't need these.
we will have enough
Ta-ta.
liquid before this is over.
yeah. Yeah.
So, what I'm going to say here is you all will get one disruptor attack on each of the changelings before they get a response. So, Akrak and Dagon decide who among you is going to be using your disruptor. Same thing with Kanas and Mori. Which one of you is going to be using your disruptor? Again, the main role would be a control security at a difficulty of 2.
I can do that.
I did not have good luck with the
Okay.
disruptor last time, Maury. So
Okay.
I'm good at shooting.
Oh
things.
yeah, you're was it? I'll do the shooting.
the glory is yours.
All right, and you do have 1 momentum if you need it.
Copy.
We should probably say that for whoever's going second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. I mean, if we're spinning with it, yeah, we'll walk up. I'll confirm with Dagon which one is the one.
Yeah. So Dagon will use a tricorder tricorder to the equivalent Klingon tricorder to make sure that we have the right target there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the correct one.
Great. I will
All right.
walk up. I'll pull
I
out the
signal.
shotgun pistol. Yeah. I'll turn to the rest of the people in ops and be like, fellow warriors, I regret to inform you there is a dishonorable changeling among us. And I'll just turn towards the one and shoot. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and do your roll.
I'll give you 1 threat just to go up to 3 die, just in case.
Okay.
Ooh.
2 successes. All right, very important damage roll. Probably want to either give me a momentum or a threat to reroll those blank die.
Yeah. I'm definitely
Take the momentum. We
Okay,
can.
copy.
If this works, they know there's at least one.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you the momentum. I'll reroll the 5 that are blank.
Okay.
Better.
Significant. And let me just double
better.
check the total number on that. So that is 7 with 3 effects, which means it's total of 10, which is enough to lethally injure the changeling. So yeah, you pull out your disruptor, you level it, you fire. The changeling does attempt to shapeshift away, so people do see that the changeling is attempting to escape, but your disruptor shot is true, and you vaporize one of the changelings.
Beautiful.
At the same
Very
time,
nice.
we go to Mori and Kanas. So which one of you two is shooting your changeling?
That will be Mori. Was it? And he's gonna do some battle cry, for the honor of the Empire or something like that. And level of disruptor and fire.
All right, control security, difficulty of 2. All right, I can offer you a success with a complication, or you could simply choose to fail, or if you have your determination, you could reroll that 17.
I have the determination.
Yep,
I'm gonna
that's
reroll that. And that's just perform task roll 1.
Yeah. There you
Much
go. You
better.
actually get a momentum back for your troubles. And then, very important damage roll.
All right.
Hey.
Papa needs a new pair of honor. Come on.
All right.
Ooh.
That is 2 effect. You'd be doing
Nice.
8.
6.
What I would tell you is you would need to do either an effect, another effect, or you would have to give me a momentum and a threat to do enough damage.
So then in this case, to do the effect... Oh, wait, does Vicious do anything here?
I'm accounting for vicious. So each of those effects count
Yeah.
as an additional. So right now you're doing 8, but they also have innate resistance. And in order to lethally injure them, you would have to give me either 2 more damage, which would be an effect. So you could re-roll that blank and try to get an effect, or you could just give me a momentum and a threat, and that would give you the 2 additional damage you need.
Do I have anything
Just give
that I
him
can
the
use-
momentum and the threat.
Well, going with threat 8, you never know what's going to happen. I don't like GMs that allow things to come to fruition. But is
It's
there
a
anything I
Klingon
can
campaign, so expect a lot of threat.
do? Yeah, true. Is there anything mechanically I can do to re-roll that blank? I'm not
Yeah,
sure if
you
I
can
do.
spend a momentum or a threat to re-roll that blank.
Okay, I'm gonna just spend the momentum. Okay. And is that oh wait, just reroll results 1?
That or do perform challenge and put in 1, whichever. Okay, so you would still have to give me 1 threat in order to have enough damage here.
Yep.
Sure, take the threat.
Okay. All right, so you are able, the 2 teams are able to vaporize the Changeling, and enough of the Changeling shape-shifting is visible that you are not immediately questioned and quarantined and shot yourself for attempted mutiny. But Admiral Zark does come out of his office and goes, "Who the hell is firing disruptors on my bridge?"
Is he on bridge or ops?
So he is actually coming out of his office, which is to the rear of the command deck.
I'm gonna, calm over to security teams and give them the go-ahead to apprehend House Lori, and then it's probably time to start identifying ourselves honorably.
Okay.
And explain the situation to the Admiral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, if Admiral's closest to us, I'll go over and be like, apologies. We're dealing with a changeling threat, and I'll point over to the
Had to act fast.
vaporized changelings.
Okay. So, since we are coming up on session time, we'll just sort of streamline this narrative a little bit. You fill in the Admiral. The Admiral only asks for a few sensor logs and some data to confirm that what you're saying is true. He does agree, once he sees the evidence, that you acted honorably and quite well, though he may have a few misgivings for publicly disrupting the changelings on the main command deck, but you dealt with the problem. That's what matters. He will also have House Laurie rounded up, and it'll be very much a case-by-case basis, depending on the interrogation, who is given a chance to redeem themselves and who might be out an airlock, as it were.
Right.
Can we have the fluff ending be like Maury just chowing down on Gok to try to rid the taste of Changeling?
It's like guzzling Klingon mouthwash.
While sitting
Blood
at the
wine,
table
that's
in
what blood
the
wine's
bar,
for.
we're just passing you as many sorts of differently flavored food as possible.
Just like doing
just-
shots of like Klingon hot sauce.
He's just
Yeah.
he's gargling Romulan ale to try to get this out.
Exactly.
There you
What
go.
I wish we had is the Terran beverage that they call Listerine. Oh, that is a taste which would purge even the most vile scum. Oh,
All
a
right.
good
Well, that is going to be the end of this 2-parter. What'd you all think? I initially had a
was
lot
great.
more engineering planned, but just that one initial complication at the beginning kind of changed our plans tremendously.
Right.
That's
Moved,
okay.
um,
It was
moved
a
the
great.
timeline forward.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
We
that
did
was
some
a
good rolls.
Yeah, that was some it was I was
Yeah,
curious
not
what would
gonna
have
lie.
happened.
Not
I'm
gonna
curious what would
lie,
happen if we didn't have
you continually beating the Changeling in unarmed strikes was perhaps a good thing because it is a monster at melee combat.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the
I
fact
was
that you
expecting
can
any moment it would have just ungrappled by I'm a liquid. The whole broken.
Yeah, it's one of those things where things could have gone very, very differently had they
Right.
rolled a little bit better or you a
Yeah.
little bit worse.
A little worse. Yeah, for
Worse.
sure.
Yeah, but that's just the dice for you. They have a story to
Yeah.
tell, and we like that.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we were also running at high threat a lot at the time. This
Mhm.
could have gone worse very quickly.
All right, well, this is where I'm going to end the recording. So Twitch, stick around because we're going to rate somebody. But YouTube, this is where we say goodbye. Bye, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.
Bye, you do.